Hi, my name is Jeff Andrews. Who am I and what do I do? Well, I'm going to take you on a journey of faith being disrupted. I am a third generation Hong Konger, born and raised in the city. My grandpa came in the 1960s, my dad in the 70s, and my mom in the 80s. Me and my sister are born and raised here. For me, I had faith disrupted since I was young. I am darker skinned. I lacked the sense of belonging in the city. I felt discriminated. And for me, I just did not feel Hong Kong was home. So by day, I go to a segregated school where many non-Chinese actually all congregate together. We are not taught Cantonese. By night, I go to a local park that's also segregated. Usually a lot of the Nepalese, Indian, Pakistanis congregate together. So at a very young age, I failed to find myself in the city, a city that's called an international city. Even playing football as a young kid, I wanted to get into local football schemes. And I remember going to the Football Association and asking for a form, and they would only give me the Cantonese one. I really wanted to play, so what do? I would go down to my local security guard in my building and ask him to help me fill it up. And I would be playing. And you can see here in 1997, I was one of the first to play in local district competitions. Soon after, I realized my place in the city. What is my future? Going into the local school system, you realize going into higher education, you needed Cantonese, you needed to read and write. And unfortunately for people like me, we didn't read and write in school. So it was hard, and I rebelled against society, and I walked a very wrong path after failing school. And I just thought, this is my life. And unfortunately, I got arrested as a young youth, a rebellious young youth. And fortunately for me, I think that was where faith really got disrupted. A local social worker named Fermi Wong came and saved me at that police station, bailed me out, found me a lawyer, and by God's grace, I would say, I was given a chance by that judge. He says, "Young man, why are you wasting your life away?" And I came out of that thinking I hit the lottery. And since then, Fermi Wong, my social worker, took me, held my hand, and showed me a direction that till today I'm on. And actually, I didn't realize that that direction will be back in Chungking Mansions, the place that many of ethnic minorities don't want anything to be associated with. It's a place that is usually negatively perceived as a place of crime, a place where no one should be going. Even many locals, even till today, call it, the infamous Chungking Mansions. And I never imagined me working in this building. And here I am today. It's a place called Christian Action Center for Refugees. Right behind me, you'll see this beautiful images of Hong Kong's humanitarian site serving the Vietnamese refugees. Now, for myself, I was thinking, who am I serving? I'm serving refugees, people who are fleeing persecution. And me as a minority who struggled in Hong Kong for my identity, I'm helping others who come into the city finding protection, refuge. And slowly I found I have to be a voice for the voiceless. And these are people fleeing religious violence, political violence, racial violence, war, and whatnot. And I kept thinking to myself, I'm so lucky Hong Kong has given me home. It's safe, it's peaceful, it's, we all have respect for one another. But I did find that refugees had it harder because no one understood them. They were darker skinned. They were holding different identity status. So I started to use my life and my ways to change, hopefully, their life as well. And what I always said to them is, you got to be the change you want to see in the world. And that's from, of course, Mahatma Gandhi. And I started a football program for refugees because I found identity on the pitch. When you play on the pitch, usually they see your ability, not your skin color eventually. And through that, I started a team called the UCCA, United Colors of Christian Action. And I started to see Hong Kong people's perception of refugees change because you have dialogue, you have interaction. And I started to incorporate that into other aspects of my work. So one of the things that happened in 2018, that it was faith disrupted, was a super typhoon. And I remember it was horrible, the damage to Hong Kong. And what I did is I got some of my refugee clients, some ethnic minorities, because Hong Kong people had to work. Why don't we go in and clean up Hong Kong so that the city can get back to normal? And I can never forget, as I walked in with many of my refugee clients, the first thing as we walked into the football pit, the park, was some of the elderly said some words in Cantonese. I still remember. It says, "Wow, kam do hak kwai galito," which means, "Wow, so many black ghosts." And I just thought to myself, "Oh my gosh, we haven't even done good things or the actions yet. What do we do?" And I remember my refugee client saying, "What did she say?" I said, "Doesn't matter. Just keep doing it." And I remember for 2 hours, we cleaned that park so good. It was like brand new. And the same Paul, so the older generation who said those things to us, disappeared. And I told my clients, "Did you say something to them?" And they said, "No." But the same Paul came back with 2 big bags of polo bao and waitalai, which is like a pineapple bun and a famous Hong Kong drink, and gave that out to our clients as a way of saying thanks and sorry. And I thought that is what Hong Kong is about. That's what actions are about. You just got to keep doing it and hope for the best. And then I thought, what about Chung King Mansions? For so many years, even myself, we didn't want anything to do with this building, but it's got such beautiful diversity and there's so much misunderstanding. So one of the big things I found in Hong Kong is maybe there's no lack of education, but it's just so old school. It's PowerPoints, going into places and just talking. So I said, why don't we bring people in? And one of the best times is Ramadan, the Muslim time of fasting. And actually in Hong Kong, people don't understand religion so well. So I said, bring them in and have a fasting time, understand what the religion is about, eat together, pray together and understand each other. And I can tell you that was one of the most beautiful times I've seen in Hong Kong. I got several government departments joining, corporates, churches, schools coming in to understand Islam, understand Ramadan. And then I thought, we need to take it one step further. Why don't we go to the mosques? People always pass by Kowloon Mosque, but they say, I don't know if I'm allowed in, I'm scared. But I really do believe, again, like unity in diversity. And I think by bringing people in to have honest conversations is very important. And today I'm so proud that, dialogue is something that I'm really proud of, because in this city, very challenging times, people don't talk enough, people don't express enough, people don't have enough exchanges. And bringing people to the mosque, I can never forget telling people to basic things: take off your shoes, go in, cover yourself, and ask honest questions. And here you can see the imam opening up the Quran and showing what it is and explaining the religion to them. Until today, I'm packed with tours every week in this pandemic, because people now want human interaction, not wanting to be quarantined and locked in. And now I can tell you our Chung King tours are so beautiful because it shows the diversity. And it's not just about South Asian culture or ethnic minorities. It's also talking about Hong Kong history, heritage, and respect for each other. The old school of neighborliness, which we used to have in Hong Kong. My grandpa always told me back in the day, our doors towards our neighbors and our corridors were opened. Nowadays, it's not there, but I'm trying to bring that back by bringing people to Chung King and seeing the beautiful hospitality that we have. So my tours are all about the 5 senses. You feel, you touch, you smell, you hear, and you taste. What better ways to bring people together than food? And I think another thing we lack in Hong Kong is the sense of hospitality. And in Chung King, you will find that in abundance. The first thing you come into this building, people will greet you. People will offer you food and drink and the sense of family. And that's what we're trying to bring to the rest of Hong Kong, coming in and inspiring change. So going back to where I am today, this is our home away from home. Christian Action Center for Refugees has given me so much, but I never imagined, a place that brings people together. I remember during the World Cup, people coming in, sitting together. We open doors here, come in, watch the beautiful game of football. And, this is a sense of, you get a sense of belonging in this city, in Chung King Mansions. Initially I always think people don't want anything to do with this place, but actually I would say this is a lot more safer than many other places in the world or even in Hong Kong. But I never imagined a place that has, we've had babies born in this place. We've had families find protection and eventually move to the US and Canada through these doors. I never imagined one day that this place would be burned down. And during the pandemic last year in September, horrible fire just ensued and devastated the whole place. And I thought, oh my, what are we going to do now, right? It's pandemic. We just had the social unrest. People are very financially strained. Can we do anything about this? But, to my surprise, you always have to have faith in humanity. And I think for me, you saw the beautiful side where Hong Kong people are always about giving, especially in times of need. And I was so surprised. In the span of 2 months, initially we only asked for $800,000 just to fix the burnt unit, but we raised $2.3 million. And right now you're seeing a new home away from home. It's remarkable change for a place that I've been serving here for 12 years. I never imagined that we could have a nice, new, cozy home away from home. It's just amazing to see Hong Kong people come in. Now, if you had told me 10 years ago, let's fundraise for a center in Chongqing and a refugee center, I can say impossible. But I think because we've done so many fantastic initiatives together with the local public, that's why we were able to have this solidarity. Then I thought, what else are we supposed to do in Hong Kong? And I keep thinking history, heritage. People always say, Jeff, where is your home country? And I keep saying Hong Kong. People ask me, where is your chun? I always say To Guan Wan, because that's my area that I was born and raised in. But always at the back of my head, I know people look at my color and think, this is not your home. But recently, I was so proud to say that I found that we have a war memorial in Happy Valley where many of the South Asian soldiers defended Hong Kong, lost their lives for Hong Kong. But I saw the condition. It was so horrible. So together with a friend, I said, what are we doing? This is our history. This is 100+ years of history. And I was so proud to say in March, we got together a lot of the Hong Kong public. I just asked on Facebook, WhatsApp, and a lot of the social media platforms. I said, is anyone out there wanting to come clean and restore our war memorial? And again, I'm so proud to say Hong Kong people are just a very unique breed. We just like to get together and just get on with it, no matter the tough times. And I can tell you, within 6 months, we restored this war memorial to its former glory, where so many of our fallen soldiers got together and defended Hong Kong. So today, I never imagined that families would bring their children. I'm talking about local Chinese families bringing their children to a cemetery. In our culture in Hong Kong, you don't go to these places. But now I think it's, again, a new concept that we need to do what we can for the city. And I never imagined over 90 people in the span of 6 days just got together, clean cement, brushed up all this beautiful place. And now, just last week when it was Memorial Sunday or Remembrance Sunday, we had the first ever ceremony there. I never imagined that this could be done. And I think for me, bringing people together for an initiative is so important. It was featured all over the news, and I think it's inspired the younger generation to, take ownership of the city, take ownership of your own faith. And I think I'm going to end by just saying, yes, faith can be disrupted, but if you become the initiative and take ownership of the initiative, you will own your own faith. And I'm seeing that in my life in the last 12 years, just taking ownership in the most difficult of circumstances, and people will come together. And I'm seeing the power of humanity, and I'm hoping that can inspire you to be the change.